Coming to you live for the Build Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Monday morning. This is a familiar situation for us here in New York and in September and October and beyond. It's a Monday morning with a couple of New York football teams having lost. Yes, the season starts 0-1 for the Giants, 0-1 for the Jets. The stories of each of these games vastly different, but they both lost. So let's not all of a sudden now we're into moral victories with the Jets. That's how bad it is. That's how much the expectations have gone down. We're doing a little pat on the back, moral victories from the Jets. I mean, to me, that was a bad way to lose that game when you had Jalen Ramsey and Garrett Wilson jawing the whole game. And here's Jalen Ramsey smacking Garrett Wilson, knocking the ball out. But offense, a hell of a lot better than I expected it to be. There is a bit of a silver lining, but you still lost the game you should have won. And, man, I tell you, a lot of preseason Giants hype. Lot of preseason Giants hype. All I heard, Giants is, Giants said, here they are, new energy. Oh, it feels so different around here. Does it? Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Good morning, Jay. Yeah, same old Giants, I guess, right? I guess that's what you could say. And it seems that way. But let's start with the Jets first and foremost, because unfortunately for them, Aaron Rodgers came back and threw 4 touchdown passes. And Aaron Rodgers looked great. And Aaron Rodgers could play even better than he played yesterday. And I thought yesterday's game between them and the Steelers, the Jets and the Steelers, was an amazing game. I thought it was a great game. I thought it had everything in it. And I have to give Tanner Engstrom an A+ for the way that he set the tone for what the Jets want to do on offense. So I'm not all about, and neither is Aaron Glenn, by the way. You know, he wants to win games. You can tell that they look different, that they feel different, and I really believe that was a very, very good opening game for them, especially on offense. Defense, they got to clean up some things. Too many guys running wide open. And Aaron Rodgers found those guys, but the pass rush is there. I do think that the running game is there. Breece Hall was amazing yesterday. So it is a loss for sure. I think most of us thought that they were going to lose, but none of us thought that they were going to score this many points. And, you know, they had one turnover, and that turnover basically is a game-changing turnover, and they got to figure out what they're going to do with Gibson, because you can't have a guy back there that is that loose with the football. You just can't. It kills your football team, and I know that there's talent there. I know that there's speed there, and I know that it'll be interesting to see what the Jets do because, you know, in past years when a new coach takes over, normally they don't have a lot of patience for mistakes, and especially if mistakes that have been a part of a player's reputation.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if the Jets do anything at that particular punt returning or returning position, because you can't have that kind of stuff. And some of the things that did happen yesterday, Aaron Glenn's trying to get rid of. He's trying to get rid of the turnovers. He's trying to get rid of the penalties. I think they were all amped up, which I appreciated. I thought that it looked like a real football team.
Yeah, I mean, but they should have won the game and didn't, which I think is.
They actually looked like the better team.
Well, they were. I mean, that's what's so frustrating about it. I understand that, you know, we go into this season, the expectations aren't high, and you think about wins and losses and what it means and what it looks like and all these different things that we dissected leading up to this game. But, I mean, you're at home. It's a home opener. You're getting quite possibly the best offensive game that Justin Fields has played in his NFL career.
Yeah, I went back and looked at some of this stuff.
And your defense was that bad that you couldn't win this game?
I went back to look at some of his games that he had played in Chicago and Pittsburgh. I mean, he had some really good games. I mean, but this game was a game where, you know, he only threw 22 times. They ran the ball really effectively, and they want to become a more physical offensive football team. And then Tanner Engstrom used his legs, used Justin Fields' legs, and even J.J. Watt, you know, called the one touchdown run, and said, "Here it comes." And you know, it's exactly how if I couldn't have played it out any better in terms of who Justin Fields is as a player, to utilize his skills to the highest degree in order to give your team a chance to win. And that's exactly what Engstrom did. I was thoroughly impressed with that part of it. And they only threw 22 times, but they ran the ball really effectively. You want to talk about balance? You couldn't have asked for a better offensive performance than you got yesterday. And normally I would say, hey, new quarterback, new players, new situation, new OC. It's going to be a little choppy. It's not going to be great. Drake May wasn't great yesterday. Daniel Jones was great yesterday. Aaron Rodgers was great yesterday. Russell Wilson wasn't great yesterday. I mean, there are different, players that just couldn't overcome whatever their situation they found themselves in, but Justin Fields was not one of those players.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably the most shocking thing that happened throughout the league yesterday was the way that the Jets offense looked. I thought that they were going to be, and they still may be, it's one game, one of the worst offenses in the league. If they continue this, it's going to be a complete shocker. They had the lowest over-under total in the entire league last year, the Jets and the entire league this past week. Between the Jets and the Steelers, and it was up and down, and probably the second most entertaining game of the day, only to what happened in the Sunday night game. And still, you can make a case it was the most entertaining game of the day. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great start, but as good as the offense was, I mean, the defense was that bad. I mean, and so, I mean, there's definitely, you're taking something out of it we didn't expect, but no one thought that the defense was going to get shredded like this. I mean, if you're telling me that you're scoring over 30 points with Justin Fields running the ball and winning every single category statistically, and they still lose the game, I would have told you were nuts.
Yeah.
But somehow they still found a way to lose the game.
How do you think the Baltimore Ravens feel this morning?
Well, yeah, but the Baltimore Ravens at least make the playoffs every year and have an MVP at the quarterback and have had a history of winning Super Bowls in their organizations, where we're sitting here talking about the Jets doing it again and starting off with a loss again and having Aaron Rodgers stand there behind the podium and go, yeah, I like beating everybody in the Jets organization. I mean, so, yes, it depends how you want to look at it. I was just frustrated because I wanted to come in here today and say, wow, they came out and won that game in a way that we didn't expect, and they had a chance to blow it and didn't. And I was ready for that to be today.
And it was one turnover, on a punt return. That's basically what changes the game. And there's obviously when the game's on the line, they go with an RPO late in the game, and you're like, that's not really what you want to do when the defense is really pressing the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers were pressing. But I don't know. And again, silver lining, yes. Moral victories, no. There's no way in the world that Aaron Glenn is happy. I mean, I think that when you are an offensive coordinator and you're an offensive player and you see the way that the Jets played offense, you can take away from that game that you can do this. You can actually really do this. And this is against one of the better defenses in football, by the way. And if you could do it to that defense, you should be able to do it to most of the defenses that you're going to be playing against. So I would take that as a major win from the offensive standpoint. But as you pointed out, to let as many guys run open as they did, especially after the interception, after the fumble, to have that easy touchdown pass being thrown by Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's just that's a busted assignment.
Yeah, and Brandon Stevens was the guy who was getting roasted every single offensive possession for the Steelers.
And this was the big free agent signing.
Yeah, and I understand that, and Sauce played well, and him and DK Metcalf were going after it the entire game, and DK had a couple of catches, with 3 or 4 catches, 70-something yards, but I felt like that was a win for Sauce. It didn't feel like DK was dominating him at any stretch of the imagination. But, yeah, Brandon Stevens just got roasted, and they were picking on him, and it was ugly. So they've got an issue there for sure. But I'm curious. I can't project that this offense is going to continue to do this. I kind of need to see it a couple of weeks in a row.
But I'm just saying that
But if you're telling me that they're anything like that, I have faith in Aaron Glenn at the very least to not put out a defensive performance like that again after he saw this on tape.
I think they'll work on the defense. They're not going to be playing, hopefully not be playing, quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, who got, as motivated as you possibly can. But even them, they had a couple big plays here and there, but it was, I just felt like it was a really entertaining, one of the better Jet games that I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. They really had a chance to win this, and I never expected their offense to score as much as they did and to look the way they did. I mean, Breece Hall looked like he was shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk about maybe trading him in the preseason, and thank goodness they didn't. But, yeah, no, he looked great. I mean, I did not expect, and Garrett Wilson, even though the last play of the game was sort of embarrassing for him after jawing with Jalen Ramsey, and then Jalen Ramsey really getting the last laugh on that thing. But Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields look like they had that connection like they did in college right off the bat. So that's another positive thing for sure.
That's a great throw to the touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson's right over the shoulder, right in his hands. And there are a couple of throws that I thought Justin Fields made in the fourth quarter that were really good too. Like he just stepped into the throw and let it rip, and he hit his receiver right in the chest. Like so, like if you take his first pass of the game, they started run. And then his first pass of the game was completed, but it was behind Garrett Wilson. I think it was Garrett Wilson. And, that was like, oh, here we go. Those are the kinds of throws that, he's been known for. But once he settled into the game, once he started running, now all of a sudden he was delivering the football with confidence. You could see it. You could see the way that he was moving around in the pocket. That was about as good a performance as I could have ever expected from him. I hope it's not the best performance of the year. I hope that he continues to learn. And the more that Tanner Engstrom gets to know his quarterback, the more opportunities he'll give him, I think, throwing the football. But the way that they had balance and the way that they ran the ball, this is the thing, like, you look at Baltimore last night, the way that they ran the ball down Buffalo's throat and still lost. And the way the Jets ran the ball down one of the best run defenses in football and still lost.
Yeah.
A lot of anomalies when it comes to the statistics and how they don't add up to what you think would be either what should have been a win for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, this was as good of a week one as I could remember in the last couple of years. We had talked about these teams getting off to slower starts ever since you had the cut down in preseason games, no one playing. But the starters played more preseason snaps this year than they'd had in a long time, and you could really tell.
Yeah. The amazing thing is two things. One, Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts scored on every single possession.
Yeah, I mean,
every single possession.
It's unbelievable.
Daniel Jones. Every single possession for Indianapolis, and Miami looks lost. And number two, the Cincinnati Bengals had a total of 7 second-half yards yesterday. And Myles Garrett almost decapitated Joe Burrow.
Yeah. I mean, to have the Bengals offense look like that and the Jets offense look like they did were the two biggest shockers to me yesterday.
What about Daniel Jones and the Indy offense?
Well, yes, yeah, I mean that
but
too.
The Indy
defense,
the Indy defense actually kicked the living crap out of Miami, and of course you got New England lays an egg in the second half against the Vegas Raiders, and then the real big question now is what is Brian Daboll going to do at quarterback?
Well, he can't put Jackson Dart in this situation. If that's just a pure panic, I'm going to lose my job, I'm not going to make it through the season situation. That would be the only thing. And I understand he was non-committal. I mean, if Jackson Dart, and I understand he looked good in the preseason, was out there yesterday, I mean, you tell me all the time how much quicker it is.
It is.
And you step in there, even preseason into regular season, and the way that the offensive line played without Andrew Thomas, he might have been like seeing Ghost 2.0 for the Giants and not the Jets. But I mean, you can't do it. You can't do it yet. I mean, if Andrew Thomas is healthy and you start seeing a little bit better play up front, and you're still looking terrible offensively in like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe. But I think that you're throwing them to the wolves if you put them in there against the Buffalo Bills this week.
And maybe one of the more...
I mean, the Dallas Cowboys this week.
One of the more predictable situations is the situation on the sideline with Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, he's frustrated. Of course he's frustrated, I mean...
Did you see, though, afterwards? I mean, it was because Malik Neighbors didn't see him, but, after they were doing, like, they got into it, they're yelling back and forth, and then Brian Daboll, like, they're talking it out, and then Brian Daboll puts his hand out.
Yeah, Malik had his head down. He kind of just had his head down. It's
so awkward, though.
Yes.
I mean, I know he wasn't ignoring him, but it was just so awkward. But, yeah, I mean, that's what you're going to get. I mean, it's just classic. We can't score any points. Frustrated, talented wide receiver who's not doing anything in the game. Losing upon losing upon losing. I mean, it's the same old script.
It basically beats on them. It's like when Odell Beckham Jr. was here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's the same guy, but they're frustrated. They want to put up big plays. They want opportunities. They want to be able to, impact the game in a positive way. And he wants his 10 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I don't blame him. I mean, and it was a slog yesterday for them.
It's just awful. I mean, it's not as if the Giants defense kept him in it. I mean, it was 14-6 most of the game. It's not as if Jaden Daniels was carving up that defense. Brian Burns had a couple of sacks. I mean, they were able to play the run relatively well as well. I mean, it was just the fact that the offense couldn't do a damn thing. Just so unbelievably putrid. And I mean,
it just goes to make you realize when you watch the game last night with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, what superstars at that position and what athletes at that position can do in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, and Russell Wilson was one of those players at one time in his career.
But then we also saw guys we didn't expect doing it, like, 100-year-old Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, and Daniel Jones. So it's like this league just keeps you on your toes all the time. And that's what it certainly did yesterday. But, yeah, I mean, the Giants haven't looked like a real NFL team in a very long time. I mean, the year that they ended up going to the divisionals and beating the Vikings in the playoffs and making the playoffs that year, I mean, ever since then, they have not looked like a real NFL team. They haven't even come close to it.
I think you pointed out their defense didn't play all that bad yesterday, and they're only going to get better. They're only going to get better.
I mean, the offense can't get much worse. I mean, there's just no way it could get any worse than it was yesterday.
And I, of course, my Giant fan friends, here comes the text threads again. You know what I mean? And I know they want to see Jack. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this anymore. I'm sick and tired of this crap. Give me the young kid. I mean, already we're week 1, and already that is going to be, if you want to say narrative or the story, or that's going to be the wishes of the Giant fan. You know it, I know it, and we all feel it. The question is when do they actually do it?